So the thing is, like, I felt that super early on as a kid. Like, there was nothing I wanted to do besides do that, just wrestle. So I remember, like, I was telling my papa, and he'd be like, I don't think you should do that. It's not safe, da 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 da. But my grandpa, he was a reverse psychology person. He knew it would make me go after it. So a little bit of mind game there. But yeah, no, I just always knew as like a kid that this is what I wanted to do, you know? Yeah, no, wrestling was always the first thing. It was the first thing I was going to do. So even before I saw the matches that eventually became my favorites and made me want to push it even more, I always knew something I wanted to do.
And we are back with another episode of the Project Get to Know podcast. My name is Emmanuel, and if you are listening to this podcast, whether it's been shared by our guest this week or if the almighty algorithms of your streaming platform of your choice, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, all these 9 yards. Share it to anyone
Yeah.
who is listening to this episode. And we have Big Luther, because you're one of the guests who approached me. And I was like, you know what? If you approach me, I will get the episode to you. It'll take time to get to that point, but here we are on this episode. Thank you so much for having you on.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Thank you. I know when I approached you, I ain't have no silver, I ain't have no hardware, but now we got a little
You
gold.
got
So
it.
got a little bit of gold. So gonna make this work.
There you go. So we'll delve into the tag team championships. We'll get to that point. We'll start off growing up in Louisiana. Where are you from originally?
Okay, so small town, North Louisiana, Dubach, Louisiana. Super small town, about 900 people in the middle of the sticks. Sportsman's paradise is like literally what like that region of Louisiana is called. And anybody who's from there, if you know, you know. So yeah, small town. Small town country boy from sticks.
It's kind of cool because like having that small town upbringing, did it really teach you to prepare to just at least be down to earth, to be grounded in life over time?
hmm Yeah, so like for the most part, yeah, because like um there are just like certain I'm trying to find the right terminology. But no, I do see what you say because like my grandparents were like that. My grandparents say it's still a lot in me, just like old school country values and stuff like that, like not perfect, but I do try to lead by example. And just some stuff that they told me growing up. So yeah, and then it's more grounded, like you have more time to like be one and bond with like nature and stuff like that. Like I grew up in dirty, like grit and grind, like that whole kind of thing. So yeah, no, I totally agree with that and wouldn't trade it for nothing else in the world.
Because I was gonna ask, like, what's like a go-to food when you're growing up?
Ooh. Okay, so before my grandparents passed away, right? I was like talking to a friend about this. A lot of people don't know what salmon croquettes are, which is wild to me. So
Mm.
basically it's like salmon, but you like fold it into like a patty, kind of like a burger, and then you fry it. And then you get, see, my grandma, she always made the layer biscuit, which really, if it's
What?
not a layer biscuit, I don't want it, except unless it's Chick-fil-A. But if it ain't a layer biscuit, or if it's not from Chick-fil-A, I don't want it. But she would make those, and then we would eat those with syrup. So, like, you would just like, you could like make a little sandwich with it, dip syrup in it. You could just do all that kind of stuff. But no, that was one thing that like when I would come home, I would always like ask my grandma to make. So yeah, that's probably the one to go to. But seeing how she's not around anymore, I just don't eat it because I don't want it to be messed up. If that makes sense.
Because it's unique. You don't want to have something to replicate it one touch, and it might not
And
be
it's
like where
messed
you
up.
want it to be. Yeah,
See,
exactly.
I want it to be just like Undertaker's match with AJ. Perfect. You seen the Homelander meme? Perfection. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna leave it at that.
That's right. So, of course, this is a wrestling podcast, and
Of course, of course.
as a viewer and as a fan, how close were you in terms of fandom? Did you watch WWE more often, or do you watch the indies growing up?
So being completely honest, growing up, circling back to my grandparents, my grandpa was like a really big inspiration for it. So I would always watch wrestling with him. So we really
Mhm.
just always watched WWE. Like I didn't really get a feel for the indies until like maybe like 2014, 15, somewhere up in there when I just started realizing what the indies were, you know? Well, I would say, well, I don't know. Back then, I didn't really consider ROH indie because it was on TV, but I guess because it wasn't as big as WWE at the time, I guess you could call it an indie. But I knew about Ring of Honor and WWE, basically.
Oh, so like Carrie Silken, like around that time,
Mm-hmm.
look at Samoa Joe, Brian Danielson, G Styles
And
back
Paul,
then.
yep.
What's like a tape that you enjoyed from ROH? Because back then it's like DVDs and VHSs back in the day. Like, what was like the
Yeah.
one show that you enjoyed the most with ROH?
See, there are a lot. So it's like, I feel like if I name one, I'm gonna be forgetting another one because back then they were high quality like matches and like stories and it was amazing. So like I don't have a favorite. I just really enjoyed all of them. I really can't put my finger on. Like I can't just say one and come up and be like, oh, what about these two or what about that one? So I just enjoyed all of them. I don't really have one I can put my finger on, honestly.
Is there a moment? Let's say a moment, or it's the same thing where like it's hard
Yeah,
to find that moment, or there's a good smattering of moments that really like build up your fandom watching ROH.
right. Yeah, no, I agree. It's just a lot. It's just like so here's what I think you just can't like put your finger on because I feel like if I pick one, I'm gonna be doing another one a disservice, you know?
I see.
So
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, and like even with like and I didn't mention this, but like me and my papa, we would sporadically watch TNA. But the stuff that I did catch, like the Abysses, like the main event mafia, like the Ace and Ace
Yep.
and stuff like
Oh
that,
my
So
god,
like
that's awesome.
yeah, like we would like randomly like turn over and like catch it. And I remember like I actually introduced my grandpa to New Japan. Because it used to come on Access TV, or I believe it was the Access channel, something like that.
Yeah.
But like my papa, he was an old school system. He didn't want to see all that, like all that flipping. My papa wasn't trying to watch all that, so he
It's
really
too
didn't
much to
watch.
handle.
Yeah, it's too much. He was like, yeah, nah, just give my WWE, give me my TNA, like we cool. So yeah.
But for you, because like New Japan, kind of, you mentioned it too.
Hmm.
What is? I'm sure this will be easier to break down, but if it's the same situation with ROH, is there a match or a moment that you enjoyed, or is it like ROH where like, okay, if I say something, it may not highlight another show that you enjoyed within New Japan?
So being completely honest, like this is like how tapped in me and my grandpa are with wrestling or were. When he didn't
Mhm.
watch New Japan, I ain't watch it either. Like I didn't start back
I
watching.
see.
Yeah, so like I would like catch highlights of like Wrestle Kingdom and stuff like that. But I
Mhm.
never really just like paid attention to it, you know? So like, when my papa started watching, I kind of started watching too. He was like, oh well, gave it a try. Let's just go back to watching Raw or something, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
bonding with your parents and your grandparents, did wrestling really bring you close together? Just watching Raws or SmackDowns or any other show that you watched with them, did that really make that bond closer within your family? Is through wrestling?
Oh yeah, no, most definitely, especially my grandfather. So like for all the young ones out there who don't know, this how long we've been watching wrestling together. I remember when SmackDown was on Tuesday, then it went to Thursday, then went to
Yep.
Friday, then went back to Tuesday, then went back to Friday. Like it went from the CW to like USA and like just all these different channels and
Fox.
different like
Yep.
networks. Yeah, Fox. So like that just goes to show like we've been watching wrestling for a long, long time. So back to your point. Yes, sir. That was really would bond with me and my grandpa. Like that was like our things, you know? So like back before Monday Night Raw went to 3 hours, I remember seeing my grandparents and I could only watch the first hour because it went off at 8 and that was my bedtime. So like I would sneak out of my
Oh,
grandma's room and like go in my papa's room and we watch it and I just fall asleep in there. And you know, I wouldn't get in trouble, but there'd be some days Mary would come in and get me. Nah, come go to bed. But yeah, it was bonding. That like I said, that was the thing that me and my grandpa, that was like our thing, you know?
was that a memory that you cherished when they do pass around the time? Were those memories watching with them something that you cherished over a long time? Is watching those
Oh
shows?
yes. Oh yeah. One of my favorite memories ever. Like I have a video of me, my grandma, and my grandpa. So my grandma, she actually developed dementia around this time. So, and I'm so grateful I thought to pull my phone out and record. So it's a picture. It's actually funny because around the time, it's actually a video of like us watching. It was literally Rusev and Big E for like it was like a Halloween edition, and they were like dressed up in costume. And Aiden English got on the announce table and started singing his Rusev Day stuff they got over. So yeah, I just have a video. It's split, but I have a video of like my papa like reacting and doing commentary, and my grandma just sitting there. My grandma never really watched. It was me and my papa. But that one time, like I was just out there, and then she's watching my papa and watching it with me. So you know, I'm so grateful I decided to take that out and record it. It's one of my favorite moments. I remember I had got a new iPhone and I uploaded. I had it saved, but I could not find that video. When I tell you, as young people say, Austin crash out. Oh, it was gonna be crazy, but it popped up eventually, and yeah, it's my favorite, like my favorite memory ever with my grandpa and my grandma.
That's great. That's great. Because, like, over time and knowing that to shift from the fan to now doing stuff in the ring, before we even delve into just getting into Row, what
Mhm.
was the motivation that you were like, okay, you know what? I'm watching these shows as a kid or going through life. What was the one hinge that says I will give this wrestling thing a shot to be in
So the thing is like I felt that super early on as a kid.
the ring? Okay.
Like there was nothing I wanted to do besides do that, you know, just wrestle. So I remember like I was telling my papa, and he'd be like, I don't think you could do that. You know, it's not safe, da 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 da. But my grandpa, he was a reverse psychology person. He knew it would make me go after it. So a little bit of mind games there. But yeah, no, I just always knew as like a kid that this is what I wanted to do, you know? Of course I have backup dreams and backup plans in case it don't work out. But wrestling was always the first thing. It was the first thing I was wanting to do. So even before I saw the matches that eventually became my favorites and made me want to push it even more, I always knew it was something I wanted to do. When my papa passed away in 2020, I was like, you know what? I'm finna go do it. So I went on my journey and I've been running ever since. Not running, but I've been chasing this dream ever since.
Yeah, because I think Row became a thing. And being in Louisiana, what was your first interaction, just being in Row, not even meeting Book, but seeing Row as just a wrestling school that you wanted to sign up for earlier in your
Yeah. So what you know what's wild about that? Like I remember being in high school. Like I remember being in class. I had a computer class, Dr. Bruno. I remember like doing my work early and I also like I would just get on YouTube and I type in road. This is back when Gino was like the Latin heartthrob, he had the road. This is back when Ryan Davidson was bald and grizzled, like the bear from Bel Air. Like this is back in those days, like when Brennan Williams was the shogun and he like just came from the NFL and he had his run with like the face paint and all that stuff, like, you know? So I had been a fan of Roe for a long time, and I always said that Roe
okay.
was where I wanted to be. Like I always wanted to end up at Roe. Now, of course, life be lifing. For the young ones out there watching this, life is gonna life. You just gotta keep going, gotta roll with the punches. But life is lifing, and eventually I made my way to where I always said I wanted to be and where I feel like I was supposed to be. Because even though I didn't get out here when I originally wanted to after high school, I found my way out here, you know? So, God directed me out here. So, I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Because to go out to from Louisiana to Texas, and was there I wouldn't say culture shock. Let's say, like, did it take time for you to adapt to a different state altogether while you're training?
Not really, because as a country boy, I've always wanted to travel and go see stuff. Like I want to say,
Okay.
prior to me living in Houston, I may have been out here maybe twice.
Okay.
So, and this is another thing. So, when I left home in 2020, I moved to Missouri. So it's kind of like a triangle from like Louisiana, Missouri to Texas, and like back to Louisiana. I guess it's a triangle, inverted or whatever. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I think
usually
about
I
that.
tilted a little bit. Yeah. But no, so like I went to Missouri, had a little pit stop, but then 2021 decided to move to San Antonio. Was out there for like 2 years. Then I was like, you know what? We not getting no younger. Let's do it. So then I moved to Rome. But no, back to your original question. It wasn't really a culture shock because the South is kind of the South. Like you have different South. I would say the culture shock is like being in Lamarck and trying to go to Conroe, and that takes you 2 hours to get there. Like Houston's the only place where Houston is an hour away from Houston. And I'm just like, bro, this is crazy. And then the traffic. So in regards to like being shocked and like culture shock, that's really the biggest thing. Is like the traffic and like how big the city is. So yeah. It's probably the biggest shock of everything.
The pace is just you're trying to get used to, because living in that area in Louisiana where it's slow to where Houston is fast paced. Fast paced would be a faster paced living compared to where you are in
Hmm.
Louisiana.
Yeah. Agreed. And even when I lived in Missouri, I used to live in Branson, Missouri, and Springfield. Now they weren't large cities. Springfield had about 200,000 people. Yeah, so like that was kind of a little bit fast paced, but it has no comparison on Texas. Like even San Antonio. Well, San Antonio wasn't that horrible place to live out there, but Houston, ooh,
Different animal, different animal.
man, what? It's just wild though, cause like, all right, I remember like getting off of work in San Antonio, and it may take me 20 minutes to go home because you had traffic jams. Man, you mess around and get caught on 610 on the wrong time of day. Oh yeah. Man, because I used to work in yeah. Sorry, what are you saying?
Every road show that I go to, it's always at 6:10 or
Mhm,
even 10. It's like time just dilates and I'm stuck on the once you hit like Katy
mhm,
is like, all right, it's normal. When you hit right around Sam Houston Tollway, everything
mhm.
stops. Everything just
Yep,
stops.
that's why I hit that tollway. I'll pay for it. I'll pay. I don't care. But it's just like, so it's just the fact of like, I don't know, like I don't want to talk stuff about the people from Houston because I love Houston for like the second home. But it's just like
It's
another
not
big thing is
perfect.
it's not perfect, but it is a lot. It is, nothing's perfect, but there are a lot of worse places, at least in my opinion. But it's just like getting used to like me driving. The stuff you see driving down 16 and 10 and 45, it is
Mhm.
crazy. Like, it's crazy. So just getting used to like people and driving and stuff like that, like I've never had to be so on alert and on guard driving
Mhm.
anywhere else. Like when I lived in Missouri, I can just, of course I'm alert, but I can just chill. Ain't nobody gonna drive crazy. Ain't nobody gonna like cut me off unless they run from the cops or somebody. Other than that, like it was cool. Man, Houston, you gotta be on alert.
You gotta be awake.
You gotta develop spidey sense. You gotta manifest ultimate instinct. Man, you gotta be on 10. So, but no, I love Houston. I love Houston.
Yeah.
I'm used to it now. I'm used to it
Because
now.
being in row. And of course, the big elephant in the room is Booker T. And when you started training, what's that dynamic like seeing Booker as one of your teachers compared to if you've seen him in commentary on NXT or seeing him in his time in the ring? What's that difference like seeing Book as one of those trainers for you?
So the thing about Booker is like it's still so surreal, you know?
Mhm.
So it's just like the fact of like seeing him as a trainer, it's just the surreal part about it because it's like 15 years ago, you know, I know I want to do this, you know, but then about
Mhm.
10 years ago, I was like, all right, I want to get to Rome, but I don't know if I would be there. Now, present day, I'm here. I talk to him on a regular basis. And I was just instilled that, you know, you earn and you work for everything you have. So like when
Mhm.
Book was around, I wouldn't even go talk to Book because I felt like I needed to put myself in a position to where like I was like one of the guys or like one of his people that he trusts and just like one of his good workers to where he could be like, we could develop our relationship. So like the first time I really just did talk to Booker like that and I told him this, he's like, nah, man, it ain't like that. And I was like, yeah, I understand that, but that's just me, you know? So I guess in a way, I was kind of like holding myself back a little bit, but not just seeing, you know, how great he is as a teacher, as a businessman, as a promoter, of course, on commentary and stuff like that. It's just amazing. He's a hard worker. He has like 18 different jobs, which I respect. So yeah, nah, man, just like seeing Book is like just like as a teacher and like a mentor and stuff like that. Very surreal. Still surreal.
You were in awe. That's what it sounded like from what I'm hearing is you were just in awe seeing like you've seen him on TV so many
Mhm.
times, but to be in a position where you're a student to his craft, that must have been it must have taken you back to like, okay, I'm training with someone, I'm learning from someone who's a two-time Hall of Famer, who has
Mhm.
five-time world heavyweight champion. I have to do that because I'm
Plus
gonna.
one.
It's like it's Bloody Mary. It's Bloody Mary at that point. But to have all the accolades that he's done, you have like a sense of awe, but you're still learning along the way.
Right.
Not only with
Right.
Book, but with Ryan, but with Danny, with Gino, with everyone who's there in
Mhm.
row. You're in awe just seeing him, even up to this day, learning from him.
Yeah, no facts. Because like I said, it's one of those things where like I just feel like I had to earn my place. I earn respect, you know, I had to earn, you know, being around and being able to talk to them. And even though they would tell you that that's not how it is, that's just something I
Mhm.
instilled in myself. So just like, and it's like you said, like I was in awe of Ryan. Ryan's a great worker. I'm in awe of Danny. Danny, I'm like, I love Danny. OG. Gino, nothing but love and respect. I admire him as well. He was one of the people I would watch, you know, in the latter matches, like when I wanted to first come to row. You know, I was still in high school. And like, you know, shout out to AJ Francis. He's a guy who's been around and he's been a mentor slash big brother to me. So shout out to him. Hell, even seeing him in WWE, you know, and NXT and even in TNA, you know, like I used to, you know, just seeing people who, you know, you play video games as, you know, like with Booker and like AJ. And just a little side note, I always thought this was pretty dope. I always like to say art imitates life or art imitates reality. I don't know how big of a gamer you are, but I played every single WWE game since Here Comes the Cane. So yeah, it goes back. So, well, except for All Stars. I don't like those kind of graphics. But anyways, um, yeah, like the
It has
super
its
duper,
place. It
yeah,
has its place. It has
it
its
has a
place.
place. Yeah, like battlegrounds, no disrespect, that's just not my stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, so like I know they had WWE 2K22, 23. So I was 22, where like, you know, when you create your character, you do the story. And like when you do your character, you're creating a background. And it's like what's your background? And like one of the options was like Hollywood, MMAs, being a collegiate athlete or amateur wrestler. And if you pick wrestler, the person they give you as your mentor or who you came from is Booker T. And I remember watching, I remember first
Whoa.
playing that. I remember first playing that and I was like, bro, this is wild. And fast forward, this is in 2022, so like 2021. Yeah,
Yeah.
2K22 came out in 21. So 3 years, no, 4 years later, I'm like, I'm thinking back on that and I'm just like, bro, this is crazy
Full
how
circle.
full circle, art imitates reality. I believe it was either 22 or 23. It's one of those WWE 2Ks. But when you pick the background, like they say you come from Booker T, you have a storyline where like Randy Orton RKO's Booker, and now you getting revenge. So you're feuding with Randy now. Just just stuff like that. I think stuff like that is so dope. But yeah, like I say, life, art imitates reality. And that's just something I always like to think about.
Because what's nice too, because the training that you've done and over like just at least your early times in training, leading up to your debut, what was that like with all the lessons that you've done? When did that first match that you've ever done in Raw become just like a manifestation of how you're training over at Raw?
Cause like, so here's the thing. It's just one of the, because like you said, we manifest some word of the year, and for next year manifesting. It's worked so far. Um, but no, it's just like it was. I hate to keep using the word, but it was just an in all moment because when I made my debut with Ro, it's actually going to be a year now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Next month, Super Sunday. So cars subject to change. Things can change and happen, and like wrestling at any point in time, right? So like when they announced that I was gonna make my debut, and it's the people that they pull us with, and I was like, "Bro, are you serious?" So like,
Mm-hmm.
and it was right after we got the ID banner. I ain't gonna say we, after Booker and Rowe got the ID banner, because I just got there, so I didn't put any work yet to earn that. So I don't want to say we, but when Rowe got the ID banner, our first match was Will All Day Hank and Tank versus us. So not just manifesting that and just putting training, because one thing Book always does is like just be ready to execute. And it goes back to that saying, if you get ready when you need to get ready, you're already ready, so you ain't gotta get ready. So that's just something that I like to keep in mind and stuff like that. So yeah. I don't know if I answered your question or not. Sometimes I go on tangents.
Oh, just like your debut, because I was thinking about because your debut, because like, so was that your debut? Just wanted to clarify that. Was that your debut with the banner?
So it was a little bit after we got the banner, but my debut was Super Sunday. The Super Sunday show
Okay,
of last year when we had Joe Hendry and everybody.
right.
Yeah, so that was my debut on the main roster. Yeah.
But with the debut that you've done, and knowing that you've gone through your first match and seeing that it's already behind you, what were some of those lessons that you've gotten since your debut over at Super Sunday?
So one lesson that I was working on, and I feel like I have it down now, but back then something that like Booker would always say is like he would like basically like try to be clear minded, because he would be like, I would want to go into a match just constantly thinking about the next spot and thinking don't F up. So
Mm-hmm.
as I got more comfortable getting reps and stuff like that, doing the breakout shows, I got to a space where I'm comfortable, where like when I go out there, I don't even think about spot. I don't think about, not the super duper important spotting yet, but it's not like I hyper fixated like, oh, don't mess up, be here, be here, be here. Like you just get the rhythm, you get the flow, you feel off the cry, you feel off the energy. I just feel like I'm more comfortable now in the ring than I was, what, 10, 11 months ago. So that
Right.
was a lesson that I was told and I learned from Super Sundays from like Hank and Tank. Shout out to them because in our battles with them over this year, like they've been great mentors to me outside of it.
Okay.
So yeah, shout out to them as well. Great people, great guys. Yeah, shout out to them. They've been instrumental in my development as well.
Yeah, because is it just like just building up like character wise, how you do things in the technicals? Like, what were some of those things that in this case you mentioned Hank and Tank? How did they build you up as a wrestler in general?
It's like a confidence thing, saying like, hey bro, like you're a monster. Like you a bad MFer. You just gotta act like it. You gotta own it. Like not to segue and jump, but like I know they say we're gonna talk about the titles. but I don't want to like jump there. I just want to get this up before I forget it. So like a lot of people know that like Jay Uso was backstage. So, he pulled me to the side, gave me some game and told me some stuff, which was basically kind of spot on with what Hank and Tank was telling me. So of all these different high level athletes and performers telling you the same thing, I mean, that's just something that, you take into consideration, which I'll elaborate a little bit more once we get there. But yeah, no, it was just them just like building that confidence, just saying like, hey, just have fun, don't overthink it, just be in a moment, make your moments, take your moments. That's like advice Dane Limelight has given me. You're a star, act like it, own it, make it your own. Just little tidbits like that.
Because of course we're going to talk about, because thinking is we're going to transition into it, being a tag wrestler, and we've seen tag team wrestling become more relevant lately, especially with what's happening within the larger promotions and partnering up with Terrale Tempo. And he's been in the game for as long as he has in the wrestling scene. What was that handshake like to have this team up over at Raw with Terrell?
So it was one of those things where I was just more so, I was just excited to like have earned the spot on the card. But I also made sure to like focus on the fact of like be open. And it's funny because shout out to Kevin, because Kevin says this a lot too. He's like, you're in your learning phase. So this is my yes sir, no sir. Of course, I have input because I do have input and they do ask me, but for the most part, I'm just sit back, I'm soaking up everything I can, and then I'll apply it to me, or like in the future when I'm in a position where like I can give back and help put other people over, I just want to take notes from back now and apply that. So yeah, I'm just bright eyed. I was just bright eyed and bushy tail. I was so excited. I was ready, especially how like great the debut went. I was just chomping at the bits to get more, but also being too eager can hurt you. So I was like, you know what, just sit back, relax, take notes, take mental notes, just like be in the moment, but also be aware and just soak up everything you can.
Um, of course, with tag teams, it is working together and knowing that you are both singles wrestlers in your own right to team up. How often do you guys workshop ideas in matches, and how did you guys really gel together in the tag team division?
So when it comes to like our camaraderie and just like gelling together, honestly, he leads, I follow. So it's like I know my place, where it's just like I'm not super experienced and he is a veteran. So of course he's a veteran, so I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna listen, I learn, I incorporate certain elements, and like just going over and workshopping ideas like I would, like I'll just like randomly workshop something. I'll just like, hey, like what do you think about this? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, we just try to see what fits us in our style because we have a little bit, he has the more finesse, the technical brawler
Mhm.
aspect of his wrestling. And I'm just like the powerhouse. So like whatever I can do to play off of him and work off of him and his moveset, I do. So I just kind of incorporate it in that regard.
I had Gigi on before when we talked about the Money Birds
Mhm.
on on her contributions within her team. What do you think is your contribution with your team with Terrell, and what do you think Terrell is contributing in that tag?
Well, of course, with Terrell, there's like the leadership, there's the experience, being in the game for over 10 plus years at a high level, a former television Texas champion at Row, like a guy who's been there, done that, locked up and like went toe to toe with some of the best in the business and on the planet. So he brings that longevity, he brings that experience, he brings that gravitas, he
Mm.
brings that. I don't know if you're a basketball fan, but he brings like that Kawhi Leonard esque composure, like even keel. But when the bell rings, he turns it on. And that is one thing that I've learned that I'm able to cut it on and cut it off. So that's just what he brings. And for me personally, like, are you into baseball?
Into what?
Baseball. You like baseball?
Yes. Okay. I heard
You know,
something else. Go ahead. Yes.
yeah, the person who bats fourth, cleanup. So I'm raking shop. I'm cleaning up everybody. I'm cleaning your
That's
clock.
pretty cool. Okay.
I'm cleaning your clock. I'm taking out the garbage, like up, down, we out of there. So that's my position. The power, brute strength, the force,
Mm-hmm.
just by any means. So yeah, we both have our roles and we work together. We mesh well. I know when to turn it up. He knows when to turn it on. So yeah, that's why we're tag champs.
Yeah, because now we're going to lead up to winning the tag team champions. I'm looking through the amount of people who have held this title. The ones that stand out the most, Fly Death has become a thing. The Kentish brothers, who are still breaking out in their own right within the tag division, and of course, we're going to go all the way back, which I didn't even know Harlem Heat had a run.
When you said that, it's funny because last night, me and my friend Jacob, we literally watched Heavenly Bodies versus the Harlem Heat, where the Harlem Heat got the titles last night. We literally watched that last night. So it's funny you bring that up. But yeah,
It was limited, but I was like to win the tag teams after like decades of being out of it. That one caught my attention. I was doing research. I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. But to have the titles, of course, every champion will have that moment. What is that moment for you when you got the tag team titles?
man, I would say a top 5 moment in my career so far. So
Okay.
it was just like the story, the dynamic. You have like the dominant champions and like MMT, shout out to them, love and respect. Then you have like you said, you have Five Def who are like they have like the most tag title wins in road history. Like that's a feat in and of itself beating them. You have La Familia, a dominant faction with a former road champion in Aiden, you know? So just like being able to like go toe to toe with these teams and come out on top, it was an amazing feeling. And then like just the crowd interaction, just like just having them chant our name as like we walk back into the tunnel like it's thunderous. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's an amazing time. Just that whole day in general was amazing. So
I was going to ask this too. We asked this before too. To create that memory. And I was thinking about this too, especially having these moments with your parents and grandparents. To have these tag titles, what was your family like seeing the belts being handed to you at that time, or if they watched it later on down the line?
yeah. No, so they were able to stream on Title Match. If you don't have Title Match, go get Title Match. You can see Ro, you can see all of us. Just go tap in and stream live. But they watched it on Title Match and just like I don't have my phone, so like I'm locked and I'm in the zone. When I tell you my phone was lit up with calls and messages from the family, I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was a proud moment.
I was thinking your grandparents must have been smiling from the heavens seeing that.
I like to believe so.
Because every champion, no matter it's singles or in a tag division, is the bar higher now that you guys are defending them month in and month out over a row?
Yeah, the bar is most definitely high because there is a level of excellence and there's a level of expectation that you have to keep because, we are the top. We are the standard at reality wrestling. We have these, we are marked men. But I mean, we like that. We invite that challenge. If you feel like you want to step up and take it, you better bring your A game because you ain't going nowhere no time soon. So yeah, we are the standard. We are the flagship team in reality of wrestling. So step up or step aside.
Do you think Terrell is going to be hard on you in terms of you need to bring your A game even more now that he's working with you as a tag team champion over a row?
Yeah, but that's just the standard that we have for each other, And it's a term I like to say, what's understood don't have to be explained. So we just at the point where we locked in, boom, we always bring our A game. We knew that once getting these, we was gonna have to elevate, and we've done that every team that we face since winning titles we put down and dropped, slid to the side. So yeah, we understand the gravitas and we understand the situation and we understand what having these championships mean. We understand what it entails. We understand what it takes to keep it, and we understood what it took to get it or what we had to do to get it. So yeah, we yeah, we hold each other accountable for that. So yeah.
That's good. Because what I notice also is you've been doing more promos recently too, and you're really giving 190% in within those promos. To get to that point in your promo work, how did you really shape your mic skills? Kind of like what we're doing now. Like I'm doing
Mhm.
interviews right now. How did that shape into how you're doing stuff on your promos lately?
Well, we gonna have to take it back a little bit. So this actually ties into my childhood with being, brought up in a small town and stuff like that. So as a kid, I would always get up in front of my church and either speak or pray. So like I'm used to public speaking. I'm used to like going
Okay.
in front of large crowds and audiences and talking. So I've just been waiting for my opportunity to kind of showcase a little bit of what I have promo wise. And yeah, no, it's just something I've always been ready and I've always been ready for and been wanting to do. So yeah.
Who's your go-tos whenever you have a source for inspiration on a promo? Like, who are your go-tos that you look up to just pick how they speak and applying it
hmm
to your own promos?
So I watch it for inspiration, but I try not to. Like I may pop a saying and like kind of tweak it a little bit, but I never wanna like take somebody's cadence or just how they do it. Cause the thing with LA Knight for a while was like, oh, he's just The Rock, you know? So I
Yeah,
listened to that and I'm not
The
knocking
Rock
LA
and Stone Cold for some reason.
Right,
I don't know
right,
why.
right. And I'm not knocking LA Knight, but like if you listen, you can see why people would say that. So, but shout out to LA Knight. He's doing a fantastic job. I don't know him. Hope I meet him one day, but we'll see what the future holds. But like I said, I'm not knocking him at all. It's just the fact of like that's why I listen, but I try to do something that stands out for me. But going back to your original question, so like 2011 Punk, straight edge society Punk. To me, Punk is one of the greatest on the mic. You got Punk, you got Booker, of course, you got Cena. Like, I love Cena when they just let him. When Cena hits you with that, are you done yet? You already know you
Yup.
finna get ate up.
Like, yup, that's right. You
Yeah,
just
you
cut him off. Are
finna.
you done yet? I'm like, oh, woke them up.
He's like, good job, kid. You done? I'm like, oh. My boy's finna cook in the kitchen, no apron.
That was a subtle mic drop. It was like, nope, you're done.
Fact, you done? So yeah, just stuff like that. Like him, like is underrated as I feel like he is, like just in general. But like the Miz, I love his promo work. MJF, I love his promo work. Stuff like that. So I just kind of like listen and I Trick Williams, of course. So yeah, I just try to take little bits and pieces and like as
Yeah,
inspiration.
it's not like a full it's a full blatant like copy and
Right,
paste.
right.
It's just pieces of it to shape it into your own mic work, which leads me to my question. What is your favorite promo that you've done so far?
I mean, I like all of them, but
Okay, okay.
yeah, I
We
would
could
just
do an
say,
ROH. We're gonna if you take one favorite, it's gonna mess the rest of your promos up.
uh-huh. Yeah, because like all of them are just like 1A right now. I don't need a 1B. Not just joking.
Okay, okay.
Not
Understood.
joking. I do like the one that I did before Summer Champions after we beat Adrenaline Drip. I like that one because I had a great team with me. Shout out to them, Big Propaganda, RJ the Hill. Shout out to them for helping me cinematically with that. So shout out to them, but that's probably my favorite so far.
What do you always deliver in your promos?
Ooh, I would say the one thing that or at least try to always deliver. I know sometimes you can never be Lil Knight. Sometimes you can never be like super duper accurate with everything. The one thing I
Mhm.
try to bring is like intensity and purpose. Because who wants to sit through a Saturday night, I'm gonna go toe to toe with, Will all day. And
It's a
like,
commercial. It's a
right. It's
commercial.
very like, yeah, it's very copy and paste. Like, it's very bland. Um, it's very bland. So that's not something that you want to do. Like, you want to be able to engage and captivate and pull in. So I just try to make sure I have like that intensity in promos, big loop in the business. So that's just what I try to bring to it.
Yeah, you always have, and emotion's part of it, emotion, purpose, and you're still trying to convey that you are in a match. To have that blend of purpose and emotion, it really draws the viewer to watch a roast show, that you are
Mhm.
giving something that delivers to the match that you're doing, whether it is a singles match or if you are doing a promo with Terrale. That's always been kind of like the end goal, is to have that purpose that you are in a match, but to have the emotion to bring the attention for them to look forward to seeing you at a roast show down the line. 2025 is also a thing, and we're a couple of months to the end of the year. What are you looking forward to now that the year is almost done?
Man, honestly, I'm really just looking forward to going out there and defending these titles, putting my team on a map, just want to be the best person I can be. Just I'm really looking forward to like great competition. Last week I was able to, kind of mark off a dream opponent in La Familia. So I was able to knock that off of the list. So I can have a big checklist for like wrestling, and I want to be able to continue to knock things off. Not knock them or cross them out, but like check mark beside them. Did that, accomplished that. So yeah, but specifically, yeah, and I just want to be able to keep these titles and defend them.
Of course, like what are, and of course, going into your tag team run, are you looking forward to going back to singles, or do you want to just really make the most out of your minutes in the tag team division over a row?
Yeah, no, maximize the minutes. Maximize the minutes most definitely. Whether it's singles, whether it's tag. Like I just want to be able to be in a ring and perform and do what I love to do. So just want to maximize the minutes.
Awesome. So I'll end our conversation with this, and uh, picture yourself as an adolescent version of Big Luther. If he hung out with this kid in northern Louisiana and hanging out with you for a day, with the life and the career that you've had over in wrestling and in real life, what would that young person feel like hanging out with you for that day?
Hmm. See, I feel like this will kind of be like a Back to the Future situation where you can't
Shout
tell
out
him
Brad
what's
Gilmore.
for real. Shout out the boat Gilmore. Like it's one of those things where like I would want to tell him, hey, this is what's gonna happen. But if I tell you, then it probably ain't gonna happen. So, um, uh, no, I guess it's like what I would tell my younger self is save the course. It's like, don't get me wrong. We've been through a lot of stuff, like been through a lot of, but had a lot of great times, but had even more bad times. But bad times make you better, like Scott Hall said, you know, bad times last, stuff like that. And I ain't even gonna quote that because y'all want to mess it up. R.I.P. Scott Hall. But basically, you know, things happen. It's just about like how do you get up and respond to it. We've had good, we had bad, but you learn lessons through the bad. Like, you learn about yourself through adversity and like through adversity and hard times, you learn about yourself. You learn like what you're capable of. You learn what you're made of. It's not, because it's not easy for a kid to leave home, go to another state in Missouri where he knows nobody, live there, have good moments, then move to Texas, and then, just live and chase your dreams. Like it's not easy to do that. So I would just tell them stay the course. Yeah, you're gonna get hurt,
Mm,
but you become a better person on the other side of it. You live, you learn, you adapt. You've seen the mistakes of others, so you avoid that. So no, I would just tell them stay the course.
okay. And like seeing at least that younger version of you, like to hang, I think you kind of hit the question on that, front, but like that younger version of you hanging out with that current version of you, what would he be like? What would it feel like to see that older version of you as a kid?
Man, honestly, I feel like it would be unrecognizable if I'm being completely honest. Cause
Okay.
like adolescent me, if you had told me, um, Harry Styles would be my favorite artist 10 years ago, I was like, bro, you
Wow,
crazy.
that came out of left field.
That's the thing, though. Like, cause he would just be vibing and we listen to late night talking about Harry Styles. I'm be like, bro, what's on the radio? Like, what we listening to? I'm like, big fella, just live and learn and you're gonna relate. So it's just one of those things where like if it was a younger me, like he would be shocked about like the man that he grows into, but in a good way, because change is good. As long as you change for the better, change
Right.
is good. So just seeing and evolving and changing, I feel like he'd be impressed and he'd be very surprised.
That's cool. So this is great. Because I think one of the coolest things that I've seen just watching you over row, like all within the times that I've been there, is seeing how much you've progressed and grown. And
Mhm.
oftentimes it doesn't happen overnight, but seeing the success that you've had to the point where you are having this hardware on your waist is something that like I really appreciate watching you over these past few months, over about close to a year now at this point, and seeing how you've succeeded over time. And to go ask me out of all the people to do interviews it's an honor. I will say it is an honor for someone to approach me and ask your story. I just wish you like continued success in what you're doing, or anything else down the line.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And maybe one day I'll get a title that can fit around me, but I don't think that's gonna happen no time soon. So that's why,
There's
I don't want the Mark Henry treatment where they put the connectors on it and make it super duper long. I don't want all that. So I'm cool with throwing it over the shoulder for now.
So I have nothing left to give. You have the floor. And where can we find you if there's anything upcoming on your side of the pond in Row?
Yeah, Reality of Wrestling Platinum, November 8th, making my debut at Wildcat in New Orleans, November 22nd. So, we just going onward and upward. I'm in talks with a couple more promotions and about, coming in and experiencing Big Luther and just having fun and wrecking shop. Yeah, but I will keep you guys updated.
Okay, we'll throw a curveball. What is your favorite match that you've worked with of all time?
My favorite my favorite match? Oh yeah,
Yes.
June 14th, 2015, Power Shift, The Command versus Hank and Tank for the NXT Tag Team titles. Yeah.
There you go. So we'll end our conversation here with Big Luther. For those who are watching and listening, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or on Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be on to the next one. And